The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated.
I'd like to welcome everyone back to the Nova Society. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, and I'm here with the panel, Dr. Scott Gershwer and Dr. Mark Bound. And today we are going to discuss the parade. Yeah, the birthday parade on June 14th. And Trump wants a military parade that's going to cost, what, $90,000 at the low estimate? Probably going to be more than that. And of course, the United States, Trump says,
how much money was it going to be?
I believe it's 90 million at the low estimate. That's the number that I've heard. It's gone up. At one point, I think it was 70 million. Now it's 95 million, 100 million, something like this. Trump says that this is to celebrate the military, which, of course, that is not the case. Just so happens to coincide with his birthday. And in his first term, he wanted a military parade on his birthday, and he was told no. And now, of course, there is no one to tell him no, that this just doesn't look good. This is the type of thing that Kim Jong-un and Putin or whomever would have on his birthday. But we Americans don't have military parades. But Trump is going to have one. So rather than spending money on border security and providing money to communities in need after hurricanes, or providing money to hungry families or anything like that for the needs of the people of this country, Trump is going to spend more taxpayer money. He's not even going to pay for this himself. We, the taxpayer, are going to fund his birthday celebration with a huge military parade with tanks and a flyover and I don't know what else, soldiers, I expect.
So I have already gotten, I think, 10 tickets for this thing. You can get the tickets online. It's real easy to do. Just I think you can Google it if you want. If people are having trouble with it, email Mark and I'll give you the link to go on there and get your parade tickets. Everybody should get a parade ticket. The more people who don't show up, the better, and make this a humiliating event, because that's what the rest of us perceive it to be, I think, is a humiliating event, that we would have this kind of parade, the same kind of parade that Kim Jong-un has in his country, and has the big smile as the missiles go by and the tanks and the soldiers marching, and the thought of seeing this in this country is just sickening to me. So get your tickets. Do what the K-pop kids did at the big Trump rally that they sold out and have never showed up for, and watch Trump walk up off Marine One on the White House lawn and be humiliated. Go back to the White House in total humiliation. You don't remember that, Brooke? When the kids did that?
I think no, I wasn't frowning about that. I was thinking about what a great idea that is, and how much are tickets, so our listeners know how much a ticket is to this
tickets
thing.
Are free. Hold on a second. Let me we'll get that information out to the people. Okay, here it goes. So it's eventsamerica250.org. Event sign up.
Sorry, I lost you. And how much is a ticket?
They're free.
Oh.
Yeah, they're free. I just ordered mine as you were talking.
Okay, because I lost you for a second. Yeah, so can you, if they're free, can you get me, I don't know, 50 or whatever? I mean, how can you get as many as you want?
I don't know if you can get as many as you want, but it seems that you can go on as you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does look like, yeah.
All right, yeah. If you can email me the link, Scott, and I'll send it to people I know and urge them to get their tickets and then just not show up.
Yeah, sure.
I'm surprised they're not charging for this.
I am too. Actually, now that you mention it, but
there'll be Trump swag probably along the route that you can buy.
I'm sure.
You get your stuff. So according to this, this is from USA Today. There's going to be 28 M1 Abrams tanks, 28 Bradley fighting vehicles, which is kind of like a tank. There's going to be an Apache helicopter, 50, and 50 Black Hawk helicopters. I don't know if it's 50 of each or just 50. And there's going to be a Chinook, There will be a P-51 historical Mustang, 7,500 troops, and 34 horses and one horse's ass.
True that.
But yeah, please go on, get your tickets, and then go on and enjoy yourself doing something worthwhile. And, of course, they're going to tout how many tickets were sold and how great this was. And Fox News will tell you there were 80 billion people at it. And right now, the cost of it appears to be around 45 million as of right now. But that could go up. And this is all for, I really don't even know what the purpose of this is. I mean, if it's to honor the military, we've got a couple of those dates that are like holidays that we do that in, Veterans Day and Memorial Day and things like. I mean, so I guess this is simply a vanity kind of thing. Don't know.
If you want to honor the military, make sure they have health care and the best physicians and nurses and effective care that's available when they need it, not so that they have to wait for it, and mental health care and access to therapy dogs and things of that nature when they need it, not when they wait so long that they die waiting. And forget about all this military parade nonsense for one person.
Take good care of their families. And there's a whole bunch of ways that you can honor the military without having this kind of ugly display in this country. This is, again, humiliating and disgusting and disgraceful behavior on the part of the country, and how we're actually going to go along with this is just mind-boggling to me. I keep hoping that somebody finally just comes out and says, oh no, we're not really going to do this, but it seems like it's going to happen.
So for those of our listeners that listen to us on the different podcasting platforms, you can get your tickets at events.america250.org for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army Grand Military Parade and Celebration. So that's events.america250.org. Buy often, buy a lot of them. It's kind of like when you vote for the All-Star team. Just keep putting in more votes, and they'll say, "Oh, we sold billions." And I can tell you right now, the parade route is not very long. But if you are in Washington and you do have your tickets, there's a lot of really interesting places you can go see instead of this silly parade. So that would be my suggestion to that.
Well, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to look at the horses, but I've got my own too I can look out at, which I do all the time, every time I look out the window.
So, yeah, but we look at a horse's ass all the time.
I try not to look at him.
Oh.
He's very unpleasant to look at, and certainly very unpleasant to listen to. I like it when I listen to Mary Trump, because when she plays any audio from her uncle, she speeds it up so he sounds ridiculous. You can still understand what he's saying, but he doesn't sound like himself. He sounds rather more like a high, squeaky, and tinny, which is very funny. So, but no, I prefer not to look or listen to him.
Well, like I say, it's just another fine thing for us Americans to be proud that we are now having military parades to honor, Orange Jesus. And hey, I get the fact that, the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. I get it. Yep, that's absolutely great. And we honor our military quite often throughout the year. And it's exactly as we should. So this is more a vanity thing than it is anything else.
All right.
All righty.
I think a parade like that is disgusting. We ought to honor the military by, as Scott said, attending to their families and attending to what our living members need, and by being respectful of sacred sites like Arlington over in France and other places. There's a small graveyard, a small cemetery near where I live that has actual Civil War and New York, and I don't know if it has any. I don't think it has anybody from the Revolution, but the stones are so worn, sometimes they're very difficult to read. But we do have some Civil War people who served from this area up here.
Yep.
So there are ways to be respectful of their sacrifice.
And not tacky.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
not tacky. Yeah.
Exactly. So while we're paying for all the golf that Trump is playing, now we're going to pay for this next thing that he's doing for himself.
Well, the good news is, we'll go back to baseball whenever we want good news. The Colorado Rockies, who have the worst record in baseball, has lost 22 straight series. Yesterday, they finally won game 2 of their series against the Miami Marlins, and no longer. And as of right now, as we speak, as we're closing this recording, they are ahead of the Marlins right now, 3-2. Only need 3 more outs, and it'll be the first time in forever that they've actually won 3 games in a row.
Woo!
Yay!
Well, that's good. Well,
and that's a lot more interesting than Trump's parade. So.
Yep. So, well, thank you for the information about the tickets and the fact that they're free. That's amazing to me. I'm surprised that Trump is not selling them and pocketing the money himself.
He'll get it out of the swag. It'll be fine.
I'm sure it will for him. I cannot imagine having anybody.
That Trump has more than doubled his worth since he's become president. Isn't that amazing?
I'm sure. And his family also has done quite well for themselves. And they'll continue to do so. I mean, what are we now? We're only months into this.
Yeah.
This is going to be years.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you
all.
to everyone. Thank you both.
We'll do better.
And thank you again to all our listeners. And we will see you again next week, and we will take up your questions. So do please email us, and we'll see you again next time on the Nova Society.
The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We'd like to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing partners, Apple iTunes, the largest source of podcasts and music on the internet, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your source for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. We'd also like to thank all of our listeners. Without your support, the Nova Society would not be possible. If you have a question or comment, we can be reached at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So for Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Scott Gershwer, and all of our production partners here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power in society is knowledge. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next time. We'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, BH Conflict Resolution Services, a full-service dispute resolution firm offering expert, cost-effective mediation services to couples, groups, and businesses. BHCRS can be reached at www.bhcrs.com.